Well, here we are. We're going to talk to Brian from Spangled Drongo. We're in Murwillumbah.
Murwillumbah. Yeah.
And yeah, we're going to find out all about the Spangled Drongo, not just the beer, the bird as well. So let's get into it. All right, man. So what have we got? Like, this is some serious stainless in here for
it is
for a little shed.
So yeah, this is the brew house. It's a 4-vessel system. Yeah, it's 2,500 litres, so 25 hec.
Yep.
And yeah, it works really well.
Was it? Have you like overcapitalised so that you know you can grow into it and have that capacity when you need it as you start to grow and be massive?
At the moment, it's the demand that's not there, so we've got heaps of room to grow.
Yep.
You know, I've got 3 fermenters and they're all empty right now. Yeah, we've got plenty of room to expand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm shit scared of heights, and so dry hopping has always been a fear of mine. How do you go?
Yeah, I jump up on the ladder.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good with heights, but yeah, it's literally ladder, funnel, and pour the hops in.
Yeah.
Port.
Yeah. Just go for it.
It's pretty high. Yeah, I usually make sure there's a spotter, so it's not too much of a problem.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you use, so you got the Spangled Drongo lager? Is that what it is? The pale ale?
Yeah, the pale ale.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a 4.5%, super easy drinking.
Yep. Do you use every vessel for the pale?
Yep, so it's got mash tun, lauter, kettle, whirlpool.
Yep.
And then, cold water, hot water. And yeah, use every vessel to punch it out. And
is it a double brew day when you want to fill a fermenter, or do you just do one and then the next day you just come into another?
The fermenters are 10,000 litres, so the brew house is 2,500. So technically I need to brew 4 times to fill it, but I do 3 oversized batches.
Yep.
So first day I'll mill in and then do one brew. And then the second day I'll follow it up with 2 brews.
Yep.
Just fill it up.
Yeah. What sort of grainage do you use like on your malt? Like is it a specific malt that you use because you had history with it, that you love it and you know what it does, or you specifically went after that malt for the flavour component? Or
yeah, for the pale ale I use Barrett Burson. And yeah, I've used that through Stone and Wood and through Bolter as well, and works pretty well. The next brew I'm going to do is a lager, and I'm going to use the Voyager stuff because that's pretty kick-ass malt. And it just tastes so good. Yeah. And the way they grow it down there as well is just, like, it's pretty kick-ass. Yeah. So yeah, that's going to be the next one. Yeah,
that comes into your Thor range, like, or you've already done a few pilot batches or something to.
I haven't yet, but yeah, I know the equipment, and a beer is not about the recipe, it's about how you know the equipment and the process. So the good thing about this brew house is, and not a lot of people have it, but there's a heat exchanger in between the kettle and the whirlpool. Yeah, so I do drop the temperature from the kettle going into the whirlpool. You know, and then when you do throw the hops in at a lower temperature, you get a much like juicier flavour.
Yeah, a bit more fruit out of it.
And a lot cleaner as well, I find. So,
like the hops that you use for your pale, is it a hop that you've used before that you just really love, or for you it was just the one that worked best for this beer that you thought?
I use lots of different hops. At different times, but yeah, I do have some favourites. Like, you know, Centennial, Simcoe, even Citra. I don't use the Citra in the pale ale, but you know, there's some good staple hops that big fan of.
And apart from the heat exchange that you got between the kettle and whirlpool, is there any other sort of fancy kit that you've bought from your knowledge at Stone and Wood and Bolter, or?
I mean, I chose the options that I wanted, and you know, I've got the old school push button brew house rather than the HMI screen. I just find it's heaps easier to use these control panels rather than the HMI screen.
Are you the only one on the kit that does it? So you can finesse it exactly how you want it to.
Yeah, it's a pretty similar brew house to like the original Stone and Wood and the original Bolter one as well. just like the layout anyway. And just visually, like just seeing the buttons lit up, it's just, yeah, way easier. Yeah, so, you know, you can literally open the pathway and then turn the pump on.
Yep.
You know, control the speed of the pumps. I can let steam into the system. Yeah, it's just intuitive and easy to operate. It's good. And it's it actually worked out really good just having the walkway, you know, this size. This is actually the smallest walkway that you can legally have in Australia.
Yep.
Just so we could cram everything in.
Yeah.
And, you know, I can literally just sit here and
just watch the
see what I need to do.
Yeah.
So, came with a seat as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And how long have you been here? Like, how long was it?
Not long. Probably about 8 months since I started brewing the first batch out of here, and then before that was like 6 months of setup.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
yep. Yeah, so sort of like after COVID and when all the prices of things came down. And
even the shipping to get all of this here, it was like 5 shipping containers from China.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was around the COVID time, and I think it was like 80 grand just for the shipping. Yeah, it arrived and we unpacked it, and you know, it takes a bit of time just sort of putting everything where it needs to go, and then connecting all the pipe work and stuff, and then even these fermenters, like they're pretty tight, like they're pretty high up to the roof. Yeah. Even the Franner driver, Craig, he got out and he took a photo of it. He's like, oh, I never take photos. Yeah, that's the tightest that he's sort of. This is like really tight.
All right, man. So we're drinking your pale ale.
Yep.
Tastes amazing. By the way, we had a crack on the friggin' whatever that's called.
Puppet Master, we're calling it.
Puppet Master. Yeah, which was epic. I've always wanted to try one. So that's great. No, thank you. That was great.
Pleasure, mate.
So we talked about the pale ale itself, but man, the brand, the Spangled Drongo. So you've got it on the can here. The one beer is 1 metre squared of habitat for the bird.
Yep.
So what is a Spangled Drongo, and why are you concentrating so much on making sure that there's habitat for it? And
that was kind of our whole thing from the beginning. And yeah, then we came across the Spangled Drongo, the name, and it's actually a native.
It is a cool name.
It's actually a native Australian bird. But the reason why it's kind of like, oh, you bloody drongo, is because there was a horse named Spangled Drongo back in the, I think it was like 1920s.
Yep.
And it never won a race. It actually always came last. And then it became just a, you know, Aussie saying, oh, you like the drongo, you bloody drongo. But the birds are actually, they're ruthless. They're kind of the size of a butcher bird. They're all black. They have a red eye.
Yep.
And they're known to take on prey twice their size.
Yeah, right.
There's other birds that nest around the Spangled Drongo just for that protection. Yeah, it was kind of very fitting because we always wanted like doing good.
A purpose.
Doing purpose, yeah.
And the habitat, like, is it close by to here that you buy, like, or how does it sort of work?
Nah, so it'd
be a bit weird. You're just going out and going, just want this bit.
Yeah, so for every beer sold, it saves 1 square metre of habitat.
Yep. And
that's through the Australian Wildlife Conservatory. Basically, a portion of every beer goes towards that foundation, and that's exactly what they do.
Yeah, nice. Like, that's one of your purposes. The other is to make damn good beer.
Yeah, thanks.
It's is that like, you've come from Stone and Wood and Bolter, obviously 2 massively successful breweries.
Yeah.
Was it the reason to step out from that because they were no longer, well, not necessarily not independent, but they got bought out, and you wanted that cool little community thing back again to help something like this?
Yeah.
Or?
Yeah, it's definitely part of it. I'm not into big corporations. I don't like working for the man.
Yep.
And so yeah, that was definitely part of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they also grew into, you know, a bit of a beast, and they kind of lost a bit of the touch.
Yep.
You know, just being a brewer there, like you lose a bit of the touch from the beer. Yeah.
Yeah. And lose
when it gets to a certain size, it's just you're kind of just a number.
This is the production run. This is what we need.
Yep.
Just do it, sort of.
Yep.
Yeah. How's it gone with like in this area, there's obviously quite a lot of breweries around here. Is the council pretty easy to get along with because they're aware of the industry now, or is
because I'm on camera? Yes, they're great to deal with.
You can say that they're not. Yeah, man. You can definitely say that they're not, and it's difficult. And
they don't make it easy for people to start up businesses. Yeah, it's hard because you're kind of on the radar, and we're trying to do everything. Like we're doing everything by the book, and we're trying to help out, and we've got a purpose.
Yep.
But I feel like they're really putting a roadblock up in a lot of different things.
Yep.
So, yeah, and even in the beginning, like the startup of it, it was difficult.
Yeah.
I wish they were a bit more encouraging and sort of helped out a little bit.
How often are you turning over a brew?
I would say every 6 weeks, every 6 to maybe even 4 weeks now.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's getting...
That's good growth, you know that you're coming down that sort of...
Yeah. It's still, and it doesn't sound like a lot, but I'm doing very large brews.
Yeah.
They're quite, it's a lot of capacity.
Yeah. Yeah, we've seen the tanks there.
We've got heaps of room to grow, so...
What's your sort of time frame from brew day to package?
It's about 20 days, which is a lot longer than other breweries. I'm just trying to be careful. Yeah, my big thing is that I don't add any processing aids. There's obviously no additives, no preservatives, but my big thing is no processing aids.
Yep.
And there's a big loophole in the alcohol industry where you don't have to label all these, in my opinion, gnarly ingredients that do not need to be in a beer.
Yep.
They don't have to be labelled, and I think it's quite deceiving when people put no additives, no preservatives, but there's a whole list of like plastic silicone. There's, food grade fertiliser that they're adding, and carrageenan, and all this, stuff that is toxic to humans.
Yep.
And there's a lot longer process to chill the tank, and because I don't add carrageenan, and the fermentation because I don't add food grade fertiliser.
Yep. Do you use anything like Werflock or?
No.
Yep.
No. So Werflock is carrageenan, and they have all these cute names for it,
Yeah, I've only known it as Werflock. I know
Werflock.
carrageenan,
so it's like, it flocculates in the whirlpool. It must be good. But yeah, carrageenan is toxic to humans. I don't know a brewery that doesn't add it.
Yep. Except for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you definitely notice the next day if you have a session on beer and you don't add these things, then you wake up much better than if you do have these things added to it.
Yeah, nice.
There are ones that are worse. Anti-foam.
Yep.
It's dimethyl polysiloxane, which is like a plastic silicone that people add to beer. Yeah, just to squeeze more in the fermenter. It's literally just for profits.
Yep. Food and that here, can people come and drink here? Or how does it work?
Nah.
It's not an open tap room.
It's more a production facility.
Yep.
But yeah, we are changing the license hopefully to turn one into more of a venue. But yeah, at the moment it's just they can pick up beer.
Yep.
Pick up a case. So in the early days, when we didn't have the brew house, then we were making the Spangled Drongo at Wandana.
Oh yeah.
And then 7 Mile for a little bit too. So yeah, they've been really helpful.
Yeah. They're
awesome.
That's a really good thing about the industry, hey, is that all the people will step up and help you. Yeah, we're competitors in the sense of our product being out there, but if someone needs a hand, you're like, yeah. I got some yeast, I got some glycol, we got some chems if you need to do CIP.
Yeah.
Haven't got your order yet, but Is the community down here, that Northern New South Wales community, really good like that?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And even from the floods as well, that was 3 years ago now, I think. Everyone gets together and just bands together and helps each other out. Yeah, and even pubs and bowls clubs and the RSLs, they're really supportive of what we're doing, and it's great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really good.
Mate, thanks so much for talking to us today and sharing a beer and giving a crack on the Puppet Master.
The Puppet Master and the nose coaster.
That's right, yeah.
Cheers, mate.
To empty beers.
Yeah, to empty beers.